Olga, there is a Ruthenian soldier nearby being pursued by the enemy.
A survivor?
Staff Sergeant Mikhail Shuvalov of the 2nd Mobile Platoon. He is safeguarding a civilian and is considerably exhausted. Transmitting the information to your device.
Hey, you!
Do you know how to... Apology.
Caution. The enemy subject of protection registered. Lead the way to the shelter. Caution. The enemy is approaching. 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 Subject of protection evacuated to shelter.
I better find more ammo.
Caution. The enemy seems to be approaching. Caution. The enemy seems to be approaching. There is no time until arrival. Caution. The enemy is approaching. Warning. Enemy reinforcements have arrived. Caution. The enemy is approaching. 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 Warning. Enemy reinforcements have arrived. Caution. The enemy is approaching. Caution. The enemy is approaching. Caution. The enemy is approaching. Caution, the enemy is approaching.
Don't move!
Warning, enemy reinforcements have arrived. Caution, the enemy is approaching. Caution, the enemy is approaching. Caution, the enemy is approaching.
Your job's not done yet. Koshka, see if there's any info in the city police database about that girl.
I have found something that may be relevant. She bears a striking resemblance to the victim of an incident that took place 4 years ago. Yulia Smirnova, 5 years old at the time, lost both parents to the riots that erupted throughout Novoslava. Afterwards, a foster facility called Like Family took guardianship of her.
She's an orphan. Another victim of those riots.
Garmonian troops, Gaza. I believe they are enacting some sort of operation in this area.
This could be my chance to find out what they're scheming.
It will be dangerous. Proceed with caution.
What are you doing? I'm glad... Then let's get going.
Subject of protection registered. Lead the way to the shelter. Civilian subject of protection safely evacuated to shelter. Caution, the enemy is approaching. 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 Caution, the enemy is approaching.
Data analysis complete.
Good. Now transmit these copies. Get the original drive and come with me. We'll report this directly to Lieutenant Zazchev.
Caution. The enemy is approaching. Caution. The enemy is approaching. Caution. The enemy is approaching. Caution.
What is this, Koshka?
It appears to be Wanzer production reports. It seems that, for some reason, this one was designed and produced in secret.
So those guys who were looking for Boonin must really be after this mech.
It is highly possible. According to the data, it was already assembled and transported to warehouses near the harbor. Caution. The enemy is approaching. Caution. The enemy is approaching. Caution. The enemy is approaching. The nearby enemy troops have started to mobilize. They seem to be heading toward the harbor.
They must have seen the copies of this data. Koshka, have you been able to locate that girl? Yulia?
There is no information on anyone fitting her description nearby. Perhaps she has already left this area.
I see. Wherever she is, I hope she's safe. Anyway, I need to hightail it to the harbor. Who knows how long the Ruthenian army can hold out for.
Caution. The enemy is approaching. Caution. The enemy is... Caution. The enemy is approaching. Caution. Close quarters weapon damage.
Are you all right? It wasn't your... Why do you want to talk? Just listening to you talk about...
Subject of protection registered. Searching for route.
Now.
Caution. The enemy is approaching. Caution. The enemy is approaching.